And we're live talking about Dune for Lit Month because Julie LaVoice really wanted to be involved in the Ray Bradbury stream, so I'm holding off on doing that until she's in a good state to participate.
Yeah.
And of course, that's why I didn't, tweet out the topic, because I wasn't sure if we'd have, So last minute change. Now we're talking, instead of talking about one of the masters of science fiction, we are talking about one of the masterpieces of science fiction. And we are talking about Frank Herbert's Dune.
Yeah.
And because I've only read the first book, well, I've read the first book and a bit of the second, but it was years ago. So we're going to confine this discussion to the first book. Currently, we have the Sassy Heathen in the chat, Santi the Sane, Linda from Avidity in Danish, Mark Caesar, Godless Scummer, and of course, hello to anyone who is lurking or who might be watching in the future. And it's a shame we don't, it's a shame the topic was changed at the last minute, or else I would be wearing my indoctrination is a hell of a drug shirt, because Dune does, touch on,
indoctrination and religious overtones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the protagonist literally does start a extremist terrorist religion.
Yeah, it's a cult. It is most definitely a cult.
But King, I guess
God
my
Emperor
math
Dune is
will have to do, because my indoctrination is a hell of a drug.
Masks are out.
Yeah, mask came in because I buckled down and I have a Teespring.
And
might as well do.
And if you're on Arrakis, you need a mask to keep the dust out of your mouth.
Oh yeah, yeah. You gotta keep. And while indoctrination is also a hell of a drug, I'm pretty sure spice is as well.
Melange, yeah.
Yeah.
The spice melange.
Yes. So, a little bit of product placement. Never hurt anyone.
Was it? It was the first book of Dune was cited in 2003 as the world's best-selling science fiction novel ever.
Yeah,
and that's actually pretty impressive when you think about it. I mean,
which is doubly impressive because the publisher, like the guy in charge of publishing it, was actually fired because for publishing it, because at first it sold like no copies.
Yeah. It took a long time to get popular.
Yeah.
But once it got popular, it's incredibly popular. I mean, it's Ring and I were talking about it before the stream started, where I said all that thrill that people like of Game of Thrones, everything that people, Dune did it first. It's all there, all the politics, all the infighting, all the intrigue, and all the you don't really have dragons, but you've got the spice and you've got the worms and you've
apparently, because like Dune came out of two different ideas.
Yeah.
And the spice and the spice worms came from an idea about a novel about dragons.
Yeah.
So
So yeah, I mean, worm is another term for a dragon.
yeah, and
The great worms were dragons. So
yeah, and of course, excuse me, the and of course, while Tolkien gets a lot of praise for his world building, Dune arguably world builds better than Lord of the Rings.
Oh, a universe builds though. It doesn't just world builds.
Well,
there are lots of worlds.
I mean, yeah, there are lots of worlds, but we're talking about the novel Dune, which largely takes place on the planet Arrakis.
Arrakis, yeah.
And
I mean, it starts off on what's the water world called? Where the Atreides start off.
Yeah.
For anyone who hasn't read the story, it starts off with the Atreides. I mean, they talk the book. The book, of course, mentions the spice because the spice is the. I mean, aside from the Atreides family themselves, the spice is the center piece of the story to a large extent because the spice expands consciousness and creates people who live longer and is the way that they are actually able to move around the galaxy.
Yeah, because otherwise you wouldn't be able to navigate in hyperspace unless you were on spice.
Well,
it's a performance-enhancing drug.
Well, it doesn't just enhance the mind; it changes the body because the navigators who were humanoids when they first started taking the spice, have evolved in such a way that they no longer look like humans at all.
Yeah. And they actually breathe, like they breathe the spice melange. They
breathe the spice. Yeah. They're usually in the caskety things which are highly concentrated with the melange spice, and they drink, breathe in that, and they don't look human anymore. They unfortunately that made them look like bats in one of the movies, and they're not actually described like that.
I think they're described as more aquatic, but to be fair, if I remember right, the navigators don't really appear until like the second book.
We see one of them come to the Emperor in the first book because it is part of the navigators. Not only can they fold space and move around space, they one of the things that comes with the spice is premonitions, and they foresaw some of what was happening, and were hoping that they could preempt it. Which is a weird way to do it, by sending young Atreides to Arrakis, where it's going to end up becoming this. Wouldn't you be better off sending him away from Arrakis?
Well, the thing is, if I remember right, Paul Atreides or Muad'Dib, was also trying to stop the jihad from happening, but
he couldn't.
Yeah,
he was part of the history, and there was nothing he could do about it. It was almost like everything was preordained, and he knew it was going to go that way.
Yeah,
he kind of got wrapped up in it. But I mean, initially he was a good guy to start off with. He was there to he once he got to
well. Paul,
skipped ahead. Let's not skip ahead.
Yeah. Paul Atreides is the son of the Baron Atreides, or
Leto.
whatever his rank is, Atreides, who was set.
He's a Baron Leto. Baron Leto.
Yeah, Baron Leto Atreides, who was sent there to govern Arrakis.
Yeah.
And of course, politics shenanigans ensues, and he ends up getting assassinated. Spoilers for a 50-year-old book.
But Paul's birth is kind of unique. Paul's father was married to they're like a priestess's kind of witch thing. Who the women who use the spice to heighten their mental acuities and precognitive abilities, and that they virtually become sort of like their concept of a witch within this story. They've got special abilities. As part of their order, they only give birth to daughters. They've actually got enough control over their own bodies. They can control this, whether that they're going to give birth to sons or daughters. Because the women are actually better able to control the spice than the men are. So it's part of their thing. It's why they do that, because if the boys were born, there's concerns about what would happen. She bucked up against it and had a son.
Yeah.
She wanted to give her husband a son, so she did, and got in immense amounts of trouble for it. But Paul was born already with some of the abilities that the women have.
And of course, we are talking about pre-Golden, early Golden Age sci-fi, so of course there are psychic powers involved.
Yeah. so Paul, before they even lead, Kaldane, is that what the name of the original planet is? It starts
possibly.
With
it doesn't really matter. They're only on there for a few chapters.
Yeah, they are. But before he leaves, another superior of the group comes to test Paul, and the test is basically there's a box that he has to put his hand into.
Yeah,
and he is going to have immense pain whilst his hand is in the box. But if he removes his hand, she will kill him.
Yeah,
and that is his test.
Yeah, hello, Microraptor.
And he passes it, which is no man had ever passed it.
Yeah.
So they knew there was something big about it, but it was concerning because there had been prophecies about what might happen if a child was born, and there's a lot of religious overtones in Dune. And they're not subtle. They hit you in the face with a fucking sledgehammer.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, though, instead of most novels where the religious overtones slap you in the face, they're Christian. Partially because a lot of the terms are Arabic, at least in origin. Instead of a crusade, a jihad, for instance. It does come across as Islamic, but I don't think that was the intention.
No, I think he very much had the intention of borrowing bits from various places and creating his own religion within what it was. So I don't think it was meant to directly point to any other religions, but just to religious tendencies overall.
Yeah. And of course, there is a subplot about the colonists wanting to wipe out the sandworms because they're super dangerous, monstrous sandworms and interfere with the spice mining.
Before they realize that the worms are what create the spice.
Yeah. But they don't realize that it's actually the worms that make the spice. And so, along with the very, theological and mystical theming of Dune, we have the ecological themes and of what happens when you try and mess with an ecosystem that you don't really understand. And in that way, I definitely say Dune was much better, is a much better example of world building than Lord of the Rings, because like while Lord of the Rings is the example of world building, at least in fantasy, it doesn't really. And while there is a lot of linguistic details and such, and historical details for this world building, it doesn't get into the ecological, the physical space as much. It's like giant spiders are there just because giant spiders are there. And let's see. Actually,
are there any?
I forget what the title is, but it's an Ursula K. Le Guin novel where that takes place on a planet where the locals actually go through cycles where they're male for part of the year and female for part of the year, and it varies. And
don't forget, Time Lords can change gender when they regenerate.
But but the whole point is the protagonist is an outsider, a human who's there to like fill out some like preliminary report so that they can like be admitted into the Galactic Federation or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's been forever since I've read it, and I'm probably going to want to reread it. If we were going to talk about it in detail, but it like basically it's it's very much gender themed.
Yeah. There are a few novels like that. I mean, maybe we can cover that one night as a thing. Maybe Microraptor we can get you on, and maybe I can ask if Katie Montgomery wants to hop on as well. And we can do a discussion of trans characters in literature.
That's practically perfect in every way.
Every way.
And I'll say to you, Microraptor, you obviously haven't read the Silmarillion, because the plot of the Silmarillion is basically elves fuck things up for everyone.
Yeah.
Let's see. Write the name of the author in the chat. Yep. So on our tangent, Ursula K. Le Guin.
Yeah.
And actually, The Handmaid's Tale also, it's not a major plot point, but it does delve into LGBT themes.
Yeah, there's a couple of others. You want to see something that covers it in a humorous and a very topical sort of way. What's his name's takeoff of Star Trek, the TV series?
You're talking about the Orville?
Yeah, the Orville, because the the all male race in that are not all male. A percentage of the population are actually born female and forcibly sex changed at birth to become male. And they do a whole cultural thing about that in one of the episodes. And there's this whole thing of them trying to change their culture so that there are no more forced sex change. It's a thing. But they also talk about how the people themselves have got past this problem of sex change. That the ones that once somebody identifies, we give them the surgery and they live the rest of their life normal. So they actually cover that within that. It's actually really quite well done.
And actually, Terry Pratchett in his Discworld series, I forget what the title was. I think it's like the first Discworld book, actually.
Color of Magic is the first one.
Yeah, the Color of Magic, where the plot is a seventh daughter of a seventh son is born.
No, that's sorcery.
Oh yeah, sorcery.
Yeah. Yeah, where girls don't become wizards, but she does.
Yeah,
But that's more
girls become witches, boys become wizards, but a girl is born and given a wizard's magic.
Yeah. But having said that, that's more about gender roles in society than it is about LGBTQ. But it is very interesting.
It does, kind of tie into that a little bit, since gender is a social construct.
Having said that, there is a transgender dwarf in one of Pratchett's novels. Yeah, and considering that it's almost impossible for anybody who isn't a dwarf in Pratchett's novel to tell the difference between men and women.
Yeah.
And even hard for dwarves to do it.
Yeah.
It is brilliant. But this particular dwarf goes out of her way, because she identifies as female, to make herself look feminine.
Yeah. and
it is really, really interesting.
That does remind me of a thought that I had. That, like, while the whole monoculture is, monoculture for everything that isn't human in fantasy is kind of a race problem.
Yeah.
It's kind of like somewhat progressive on a gender standpoint, because there aren't defined gender roles in these monocultures. Like all elves are, and are somewhat femme androgynous. All dwarves are somewhat mask androgynous. Yeah.
Yeah. There have been trans characters in other fictional sci-fi stories and things like that, but I can't remember them off the top of my head. But there is a list of them, and it wouldn't be a bad thing to go through, even though we've kind of gone through it a little bit now.
Yeah,
we might go back to Dune though.
Yeah. Song of Ice and Fire has some themes that, even though it doesn't have any characters that are explicitly trans.
Yep. Yeah, there's lots of stories that do that. I mean, we were talking about one of them earlier, whose author is an absolute bigot, but the book has spoken to trans people and other people in LGBT.
Oh yes, the channel punching bag.
Yeah, the channel punching bag.
Yeah. And henceforth, that is all the only
she who must not be named.
that henceforth she shall only be called the channel punching bag on this channel.
Yep.
But back to Dune.
Where were we up to with Dune? Now I tell you what I really love in Dune is I love the shields that they wear when they're doing hand-to-hand combat.
Yeah.
The ones that kind of wrap around their bodies, so you have to have the right kind of attack to get through the shield to have the attack. I always thought that was a brilliant concept, and just made it so that you can't just shoot these people from afar once their shields are up.
Yes. The channel punching bag.
Yeah. But that aside, so in the story, basically the Emperor decides that the Atreides family is one of the major families that could challenge his position as Emperor.
Yeah.
So packs the family off to the Spice Planet.
Yeah.
Spice World.
Yeah, which is it's it's economically important, but it's a backwater planet. So it's like it's a way he could, push him off to the middle of bumfuck nowhere without slighting him. Yeah,
because it's an honor, but nobody wants it because 90% of the people who end up there running the planet get killed.
Yeah.
But you can't turn it down because it's the most powerful seat aside from being Emperor in the universe, because it's the only place. Arrakis is the only place you can get the spice. So he who controls the spice controls the universe, basically.
Yeah.
I think I've paraphrased the line. He
is that
all?
Oh yeah. He who controls the spice controls the universe.
Yeah, okay. So I didn't paraphrase it. I got it right.
Yeah.
So yeah, so
But yeah,
the whole
so
family are packed off there, and
we'll tell you what the universe, we'll tell you what the galaxy wants, what it really, really wants. But no, it's where the massive spice worms are from.
Yeah. So of course, Paul goes there with his with his father and his mum, and he doesn't have a sister, does he? Oh, God. Yes, he does. He does have a sister. He does. Yeah, I don't know why my brain didn't.
Yeah.
that.
Also, if I remember right, there was a slight bit of incest in that book.
Yeah. And while they're there, not long after they get there, actually, they're only there for a year or so or something like that, and the people who previously ran the planet get Paul's father assassinated.
But Paul manages to escape into the desert where he joins up with the desert nomads, who are probably like one of the most badass cultures in all of sci-fi. Definitely in all of sci-fi.
I love that they called the Freeman.
The Freeman.
The Freeman, yeah.
Yeah. And we'll ignore the fact that they spend like all their time drinking their own piss.
Yeah, well, they kind of have to. They actually wear suits that help them drink their own sweat and piss.
Yes.
Because Arrakis is a dry planet. There's very little water.
Arrakis is a desert world. So
yes.
So they, and they don't live in the cities that actually have water. So they wear suits that filter all the nasty stuff.
What on earth is the name of the suits?
The still suits.
Suits. That's it. Yeah, still suits.
And I think Frank Herbert might have called them. This is just a theory, a book theory. Sorry. But I think Frank Herbert might have called them still suits because they distill the water from the liquid waste in all forms.
Pretty much. Yeah, all forms of liquid waste. They do not waste a drop of water. They even reprocess people who've died to get the water out of them.
Yeah.
So, Hi, Jeff.
Oh, yeah.
So, whilst Paul is there, his sister and his mother are still kind of trapped with the... I can't remember what the name of the family who were there before are called, but...
With the Dick family.
The Dick. Yeah, they're definitely Dicks. I honestly can't remember. Hang on, let's see if I can find it. Harkonnen. The House Harkonnen. Baron Vladimir Harkonnen and his kids who are absolutely nuts.
Also, aren't they like super hedonist?
Oh, yeah. They're absolutely crazy. But whilst Paul's there with the Fremen, there's a mother superior from the sect who's also with the Fremen, and she encourages Paul to drink of the waters as the women who are part of the sect would. So the one lot of water that they've got there is heavily imbued with the spice.
Yeah.
And she encourages Paul to drink that.
And he starts having visions.
He starts having visions, and just like the Fremen, who were born with the spice around them and absorb it, his eyes turn blue. Because they weren't blue to start off with, because all the Fremen eyes are blue because of the spice.
And we're going to gingerly dance around the racial connotations of that.
Yes. Yeah, it's almost pointing at the superior race of the Fremen. In this case, it's more a case that they become superior because of the spice.
Yeah.
Not that they're born superior. They just are gifted these abilities by
But
the
yeah,
spice.
there can be racial connotations read into that.
Yeah.
But we are going to carefully
Ignore it.
Yeah, we are going to carefully walk around that topic with randomized footsteps.
Yes, we are.
Very diplomatic.
He at this point he starts learning that he starts encouraging the Fremen to rise up and look out for themselves, to protect their world, because it's their world. It doesn't belong to the others. These are the people who were born here, who grew up here. They may have come to Arrakis from other places originally, but they've been generations here. That they're not part of the houses that came there to rule over them.
Yeah,
they are the original indigenous. The closest thing Arrakis has to indigenous people.
Basically encouraging them to seize the means of spice production.
Yes, so take over their world. So he sort of becomes their de facto leader in a sense. And they accept him as one of them because he went through. As part of the thing that he did, not just drinking the water, he went through all their trials. They had trials that they have to go through with coming of age, and he was of that age of coming of age when he escaped to the Fremen. So he went through all their trials and he achieved them all,
which includes riding a sandworm, and if I remember right, he ends up accidentally luring like the biggest sandworm they've ever seen, and managing to ride
terrified of it. But that was where he starts to realize how the spices affected him and how his powers thing, because he can almost call to the worms and control them.
Yeah,
in a way that none of the others can do. But and they also learn some of their other things, like they have sonic abilities as well, where they can express their powers as a form of attack.
You said psionic, not
psionic. Yeah, sorry, psionic. It's just meme. Yeah, so they express a psionic attack. They have an amplifier for it, and they can attack people.
Yeah. I'm definitely gonna have to reread Dune, at some point. Unfortunately, I cannot go to Project Gutenberg to get it for free because Dune is on this side of the Mickey barrier, which means it will probably never see. It will never be in the public domain.
They will change
the big worm creature in Star Wars. Yeah, it's kind of a steal from Dune. Dune was out first.
Yeah.
So now is Dune part of the Star Wars universe? There's the question.
Where was Badger?
Where's Badger when we need him?
Yeah.
Let me answer on his behalf. Disney is non-canon.
You're supposed to do the grr first.
Well, actually, I don't think Dune is being released by Disney.
No, actually, now you're asking me that.
Don't give them ideas.
Warner Brothers is doing the new movie.
Okay.
No, so Disney is not. So since Disney's rival is producing the 2020 Dune.
Yeah.
I think perhaps so instead of being part of the Star Wars universe, Dune is now part of the DC universe.
So we could have Superman on Dune. Does that mean Superman ends up with blue eyes?
Now here's the now the question is, what color is Dune? What color is Arrakis's sun? Yes, the best bits, the best bits of the unplanned episodes of Media Musings is where we meander all over the fucking place. I mean, we do that normally, but it's easier to stay on track when there's an actual plan.
Well, the thing is, it could have kept very much within the whole Star Wars context with that, because isn't spice something that is regarded as a drug in the Star Wars universe? But...
Ooh, you could be right.
Yeah. Oh, and I mean, even in real life, we do have a spice drug, but instead of making you see the future, it makes you eat people's faces.
There's another analogy here. Paul Atreides starts off as a whiny little shit.
Yeah.
and then ends up starting a religion.
Yeah,
that goes on to do that goes on to do terrible things.
Well, it has quite. I mean, obviously, Dune's got quite a few. I mean, I'm not that up on Dune, but I do understand it's got quite a few religious themes within it.
Yeah, a lot of religious things.
I think Brian Herbert himself said it was sort of a spiritual melting pot of ideas, and I know he was quite into Zen Buddhism, wasn't he? Or was certainly influenced by it, if not.
It does have a heck. The liturgy against fear is almost like a spiritual. But let's see. The litany against fear. I must not fear. Fear is the mind killer. Fear is the little death that brings a total obliteration. I will face my fear. I will permit it to pass over me and through me. And when it is gone, I will turn the inner eye to see its pass. Where the fear has gone, there will be nothing. Only I will remain.
It can fit in well. I was just say this could fit in well with DC or Star Wars here, because you could have to conquer fear. You must become fear.
Yeah.
With great power comes great responsibility. That's Marvel. But So basically, Paul encourages them to rebel against the Harkonnen, which is the bad guys who killed his father. But I think Paul's initial thoughts for that was about revenge, but his concept changed because he really became part of the Freemen, and he wanted that for them.
This is my rifle, Litany of Kubrick. But
can I just say, Ring, that has got to be an episode of Media Musings, by the way. Full Metal Jacket.
Stanley Kubrick.
Or Kubrick in general, But...
Oh no, I mean we could full on do a Kubrick Kubrick month.
Easily.
Oh yeah, I mean you've got to do 2001 and 2010.
I haven't seen 2010.
2010.
You got to do Clockwork Orange as well, then, if you're going to go down.
There you go.
There's a month's worth of content for you there, Ray.
1, 2, 3. I've only seen like 4.
Talking of Clockwork Orange, Microraptor, go and look up Wendy Carlos.
But yeah, I've only seen 2001, Full Metal Jacket, Spartacus, and Doctor Strangelove.
Yeah,
but in my opinion, Kubrick is the greatest director of all time because he directed in so many different film genres, and pretty much all the ones he directed are considered either the best or among the best of their genre.
Yeah,
I'd agree.
But he did not direct Dune.
No, but it's a shame because he was going to at one point.
Really?
I had heard
there was a push in the there was a push in the 90s for Kubrick actually wanted to get the rights to Dune to make another movie.
Which is weird because Dune sorry, not Dune, but Kubrick actually are back. Well, obviously it was 20 years nearly had passed then, if this is the case. But in the 70s, Kubrick disdained science fiction, and the impetus for him to co-write 2001 was to actually make a good sci-fi movie.
Yeah,
because as a challenge, because he didn't think it could really be done.
Yeah, no, I think it was. I remember something about Stanley Kubrick doing wanting to do Dune.
Yeah, but also, I honestly, I've seen the trailer for the new Dune, and I'm definitely gonna put on. I'm definitely I don't care if it's 3 hours, or not. I'm gonna wear my mask and I'm gonna go see it in theaters. Yeah. When it comes out around Christmas time.
I think there's certain things you've got to see in the cinema. I think. So,
yeah. No, I agree. So, where did we get with the story? We sidetracked again.
Paul Atreides has quote unquote gone native and taken the name Muad'Dib.
Muad'Dib, yeah.
Which I think means desert rat or something like that.
Oh.
It's it's their name, or desert mouse or something. It's their name or their word for an equivalent creature, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it is something like that. But I can't remember what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, so he's working with he's living with the Fremen. It's a couple of years, isn't it? That he's with a year. It's a while anyway.
Yeah,
it's hard to keep track of it when you watch.
He full on goes through puberty living with the Fremen.
Yeah. He basically encourages them to rise up to take back control of the spice generation and everything.
Yeah. Because the Freemen are kind of seen as degenerate savages by the city dwellers and are being oppressed. So you can also you can very much see a lot of there's the colonial imperialism theme, which kind of half breaks down when you when you realize that the Freemen weren't didn't evolve on Arrakis. They were they had originally also colonized Arrakis. Well, it doesn't actually break down that much because technically
they've been there a long time.
Yeah, the Americas were originally colonized by the Native Americans, the first people, the First Nations peoples.
Yeah.
So it doesn't necessarily break down that much, though there is, a modern reading of Dune could take up some.
Poor Julie.
Yeah, poor Julie. Hopefully you're feeling better. Here's how we wake up this early. Jeff is in the UK, so it's not early for him.
It's getting on late for Jen. It's actually
Jen is in Australia. It's nearly the middle of the night for her.
For me.
And I work night shifts.
So that's how we manage this, Julie.
Yeah.
If you want to hop in and talk Dune, though, we'll send you a link.
And Julie, to be fair, you were up quite late your time the other night, as I recall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we're saying about this because empires are a bit of a theme in Dune as well. And I think it could be argued that the decline of empire as well.
Yeah.
is a theme.
Oh yeah.
Hi, Titan.
Yes. Hello to the Titan Uranus.
I like the way you said it that way.
Yeah. Yes, I know what the joke is, but it's, more.
I'm not going to give it the benefit of the pleasure of those listening.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure technically it should be pronounced Uranus, which doesn't help it at all.
Isn't it meant to be George's planet?
I always think the best version of that joke was 'cause it was Futurama or something with the smelloscope.
Yeah.
And Fry saying just don't point at Uranus, and everyone's like, I don't get the joke, and then the professor's like, sorry, Fry, they changed the name of Uranus 500 years ago because people were getting sick of that old joke. Says, well, what's it called now? Urectum.
Urectum.
Yeah. So, there are a lot of themes that you can pick apart in Dune. Like there's, imperialism and the fall of imperialism.
Oh, definitely.
There's heavy ecological theming because Dune is still one of the most in regards to ecology, it's one of the most intricate, Arrakis is one of the most intricately built worlds in all of fiction.
The ecology of Arrakis is fascinating because without the worms, there is nothing else there. So everything about the planet is tied to the worms, is tied to the spice. And then from that, I mean, there's a vast amount of waters on Arrakis. They just didn't realize that they were there. They were all underground.
And, and basically, to borrow from America, and I'm not talking about America the country, I'm talking about America the band. An ocean is a desert with its life underground.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And fair enough, Julie.
That's right.
It's it's interesting.
This is why we picked Dune, because Ring and I thought we could get through the first book between us.
Yeah. and well, we also picked Dune because I didn't want to talk Ray Bradbury without Julie being here, because Julie was really stoked for Ray Bradbury.
And she knows more about it than I do.
Yeah.
I mean, I know who he is and what he's done, but
because this is reference here that some environmentalists have pointed out that Dune's popularity and the way it's depicted a planet as being like a complex or almost living thing.
Yeah.
And around it, obviously, in combination of time we saw that first images of Earth being published from outer space, really strongly influenced environmental movements. And
one of Herbert, Frank Herbert's inspirations specifically for the planet Arrakis was like reading up on the ecology of the beaches and sand dunes in like northern Washington area, the Washington coast.
A paper and a story about the sand dunes, which he then expanded on when he started writing Dune.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually,
as you said before, Dune came out of 2 earlier works that he'd worked on.
Yeah. And actually, a fun fact that I, ran across while I was trying to research whether or not Dune was actually challenged or banned. because of course we do Lit Month in honor of Banned Book Week. Mm. There's a peninsula in Point Defiance Park in Tacoma that's called the Dune Peninsula.
Oh,
in honor of Frank Herbert's Dune.
Dune. Oh, I so hope they've got an Arrakis point.
But, and honestly, like Dune, like even compared with later works such as The Martian, Dune is one of the few novels that I can think of that really goes into the difficulties of trying to live on an alien planet.
Oh, it does. It talks about the complexities of different. I mean, not in the first book. The first book, you only really get to see a couple of chapters of the water world. Which I know it starts with a C, Cadonian or Cadonium or something like that. It is. Look, I'm going to look it up.
Well, I mean,
it's going to
even in the first book, Dune, it like all the
Caladan. There you go.
All the things that you have to do to try and live on a desert world.
Yeah.
Like either be like the still suits and walking in random or in randomized footsteps, so you don't accidentally attract sandworms.
Yeah.
Well,
because there is the, once again, tying into the ecological issues or the ecological themes, you have the counterpoint of the people who live in the cities and try and mold Dune to fit their comfort. And then you have the freemen who, pattern their life around living, on Arrakis, who, and yes, the book is very good. The Martian is the only Castaway book that I actually unashamedly like.
I've got to be honest, never read The Martian, so
so the only hang up for The Martian that might be a hang up for people that I can think of is the fact that it's not really written like a traditional book. It's parts of it are, parts of it aren't. The parts that are on Mars are written as logs. They're as diary excerpts and logs. So if you're trying to read it, like, if you want to read a standard narrative, I wouldn't really suggest it, but I really liked it.
But I mean, I've got to admit, I think Dune is the only book I can actually think of that actually has a feature of the moon named after it. So
yeah. Oh yeah, there's a bunch of stuff named after Dune because scientists are sci-fi nerds.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. It doesn't. I mean, it's been one of those big, like sort of jokes in a sense, or I don't say jokes, or more things that how often things have been written in science fiction novels or comics or whatever it may be that have later turned out to be real life things.
Well,
I was going to say I always give the example. There was a very classic example that in the late 1930s, there was a film version of H.G. Wells' The Shape of Things to Come, and it was it was very popular in cinema. Certainly in Britain, it was very popular in cinemas. But the opening scene of this like aerial bombardment of London was reviewed as being completely far-fetched at the time. Really, this is ridiculously far-fetched. We're 2 years away from the Blitz and World War II at this point.
But well, my point were, like people have purposefully named things in honor of Dune.
Yep.
So a more cogent example of the same phenomenon is like there's a bunch of things named after Gary Larson, and in fact, Gary Larson ended up coining the name for the spikes on the scientific official name for the spikes on the end of a Stegosaurus's tail.
Did you really?
Yeah, because he did a comic with the with the caveman. It's like, this is the Thagomizer, and the name in honor of the late Thag Simmons, and picture of the Stegosaurus's tail. The joke being implied that that's how Thag died.
Thag, yeah.
And then a paleontologist realized, hey, we never actually named that part of a Stegosaurus. So it officially, the spikes on a Stegosaurus's tail is officially called a Thagomizer.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Also, another bit of useless facts about useless information at Dune. The Iron Maiden song "To Tame a Land" is based on something to do with Dune, in the Peace of Mind album. So this is something that's got a massive cultural impact here.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it did.
And it is recognized as the greatest selling sci-fi novel of all time.
Yeah.
And yeah, Dune hit that time in history where the space program and sci-fi novels hit popularity at this. Yeah, it was written at basically the perfect time, if a bit early.
And a great story. I mean, it had everything. It had the intrigue. It had the politics. It had magic. It had it was.
No,
it was more Star Wars
than magic. Star Wars. It has psionics. There's a difference.
Psionics.
Well, I mean, certainly.
I'm sorry, I had to be the nitpicky nerd here.
Yeah, you did.
I mean, it's definitely. I mean, even like you look at some of the great other science fiction franchises or whatever that were of the time or that came later. Like I made the joke earlier about we made the kind of joke earlier about like the Star Wars thing. Dune had an influence on Star Wars.
Yeah.
Dune has had some influence on some Star Trek stuff, even though Star Trek and Dune kind of came out similar sort of time.
Yeah.
It definitely influenced some later Star Trek sort of stories. And so, Valley of the Wind, for example, the anime thing.
Nausicaa, the Valley of the Wind.
Yeah.
Which I actually haven't seen. It's like I have a channel centered around media, and I haven't seen half of it.
I've seen that, but not in like at least 10 years. But so I mean, it got an incredible. It's had just an incredible influence on the entire genre of science fiction.
Well, and you can argue like Tremors is basically, the worms from Tremors are basically based off the sandworms of Dune.
Yeah.
Also, I'm straight up saying this because even though I know several of my players are in the chat, it's a good thing that we ended on a cliffhanger last session, because I am potentially considering like just straight up throwing a Dune worm at you.
Oh,
because arguably you could say purple worms are analogous.
A dragon.
Well, purple worms in D&D are arguably inspired by the the spice worms.
So we were talking about Paul helping the Fremen rise up, which he does, and they basically ride into the major cities on worms.
Yeah.
on the worms and fight the Harkemans to take control of the spice and the planet effectively. This is where Paul learns that he can use the abilities that the Fremen have from the spice without their amplifying equipment.
Yeah.
Because he is becoming that powerful in his use of the spice and the way it's changed him. So it ends with him fighting one of the Harkomen's kids, and they kill them all basically. And
as long as it's not more spiders,
yeah. And the Fremen take control of the spice.
Yep.
Much to the disgust of the Emperor. That's sort of where the first book ends.
Yeah. Though I will say that there is kind of some, there are ways to like read Dune where that in a modern context that probably don't make it look good. Like for instance, being sent to govern a desert area. That produces a very valuable resource. I'm just saying, after decades of warring in the Middle East over oil, there are like overtones that a modern reader could very well project onto Dune.
Yeah. And Microraptor just asks, what is the spice?
Yeah. So the spice is a substance that when taken it basically gives people psychic powers.
Yeah.
It
and causes rapid evolution of people who consume large amounts of it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I'm gonna say a modern reader could very much not exactly Afghanistan, but could very much project Iraq to Arrakis.
Yeah. It's a drug. The spice is definitely a drug.
Well, the spice is a drug, but the thing is, in its economical function, I'd argue it could very much more be easily seen as an oil analogy.
Yeah. Yeah, because the saying is the spice expand.
And basically after
petroleum.
Yeah, after the GWAT, a modern reader could very much see a spice as petroleum, Arrakis as the Middle East analogy in Dune.
I mean, the common statement about Arrakis and its spice is the spice must flow.
Yeah, the spice must flow. We have
to have this flow. All our economics, everything relies on the spice for the entire universe. It's the Emperor's biggest concern that we continue to have the spice.
He who controls the spice controls the universe.
Yeah. And that is how important the spice is. That the benefits of the spice in terms of heightening people's abilities and stuff like that is secondary to what the spice can do, because you've got the navigators who now, because they take all the spice, can fold space, and that enables people to travel instantly across the universe.
Yeah,
and without that, how do you do trade in a great big universe? You can't. It's just not possible. If you lose the spice, you lose the ability to travel around the universe. Yeah. You've also got the Jesuits, the priestesses who've been using the spice and have their powers. They can foresee the future. They can, to a certain extent, and they have other abilities and stuff like that. These things are all really important to the politics of the entire galaxy. Without them, the galaxy just does not function. And then you've just got people who take the spice as a drug because it does weird things to you.
Yeah. And
so it is.
And of course, that, once again ties into the ecological themes where the people are, hunting the great spice worms to try and, make mining the spice safer because they're, giant apex predators. But they don't realize that it's the great, it's the spice worms that make the spice.
Yeah, it's yeah, it's very much one of the central things of the whole story, of the story throughout almost all the books, is the spice.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, okay, Paul, and then Paul's son. Paul's nephew, isn't it? Because it's his sister's son who's the
and of course the Arrakis, of course the Arrakis is the Middle East allegory / metaphor that can be projected onto it by a modern audience. And I am going to say this will be like, when someone is reading this as an allegory / metaphor, it is a modern projection. I am going to I am going to put my foot in the sand that and say this is very much a modern projection. And the fact that Atreides ends up causing a galaxy-wide jihad.
Oh, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, after breaking, or after inciting the Freemen to revolt and basically becoming a cult figure, or cult leader.
Oh, not only a cult figure, I mean, effectively a godlike being.
He ends up becoming the Messiah.
He does. He is their Messiah. Well, they call him Muad'Dib, but they also have another name for him, which means their Messiah as well.
Yeah,
don't they? So he does basically take on that role, and I mean, and that leads you down to the God Emperor of Dune and things like that, which are later stories, which
So Herbert accidentally produced the perfect screen for modern audiences to project the Middle East onto, because you have a desert planet that produces the most valuable substance in the known universe, and terrorists,
which is need for everything.
Yeah,
and terrorists,
and terrorists,
terrorists who believe in a Messiah,
yeah,
and a prophet,
yeah.
But I don't think it was his intention to directly mirror that.
I am firmly of the opinion that, that reading into that is a modern projection onto the work.
Yeah. But I mean, he may have had some thoughts of that in his head when he did it. I doubt he had all the Muslim stuff in there.
Yeah.
But he may have had concepts of the concepts of fuel in the Middle East and stuff like that, because those things were still around when he was still an issue when he was writing. So some of those concepts might have been in his head anyway.
Yeah. Dune was published in 1965. Yes, in terms of sci-fi, it is modern. But I'm, because sci-fi had been around for at least 100 years, for over 100 years, closer to 150 if you're calling Frankenstein the first sci-fi novel. But by a modern projection onto the work, I mean a post 9/11 projection onto the work. Yeah. I'm just smacking all the topicality for this timing, because we're 2 days after the 19th.
We are too.
Yeah.
Of 9/11. Yep.
Yeah.
Who's Van Shatterack? Yeah. His mother. Yeah, except he is called that. Hajarak. I can't pronounce it. he is called that by the Fremen.
Yeah.
So that they, you know,
he is at best a premature, incomplete Messiah. He is a very naughty boy.
Except he does attain pretty much all the power of being that Messiah.
Yeah.
Except that he does also surrender it in the later books as well.
Right.
He realizes what he's become.
All right, I am the Messiah. Now fuck off.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's pretty much unchallengeable when he first takes on the role, because they basically appoint him their leader, and they're almost like a god.
Yeah, but once again, you know, we're kind of going beyond the
first book. Yes.
Yeah.
But the new movie does look really good. It's out on the 20th of November, apparently.
So probably in Australia, the US release date is 18th of December.
Yeah.
Oh, you're a little later than us.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it is December. I mean, but it's had a number of adaptations to film and television, hasn't it? So.
Oh yeah.
You know, there was a mini series, wasn't there, back in
and
99 or 2000, something like that.
Heck,
no, you're right. 18th of December, it was changed from the 20th of November. So they did push it back again. Yeah, you're right.
When I saw the trailer with my dad, because it popped up in my YouTube feed, and I'm like, "Ooh, Dune trailer, sure, I'll check that out." My dad opined that perhaps they're going to give Sting a cameo. Or wondering if you know, because obviously Sting was in the 1980 Dune adaptation, which I haven't seen.
No, I haven't seen that. Is that the David Lynch one you're referring to?
It is David Lynch one.
Yeah.
It's quite good, the David Lynch one. It just misses a whole heap of bits out of the story. So
yeah.
I mean, it's obviously the thing. I mean, that's obviously always going to be the thing when you adapt a book to film, isn't it?
Yeah.
A lot of the, you know, a lot of things get missed. And a lot of you know.
Yeah. It's significant that rather than complete the breeding program or contribute to it, he takes a Freeman wife. Though, if I remember right, there was a bit of incest, but I could be remembering wrong, because I think he might have hooked up with his sister as well.
Yeah,
but I could just be remembering wrong and projecting Star Wars onto Dune.
He kissed his sister.
Oh, you know, I again know. Well, you want to go down those lines, Jen? One of my favorite memes ever was one of Princess Leia saying, "Do you know I once kissed my brother?" And the next is Cersei Lannister going, "Oh, that's cute."
But talking about Dune memes,
yeah,
there are actually hold on.
Oh, there's a ton of them.
There are. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Cripes. Hold on. It's like, you know, there. I can't find it on Google right now to bring it up, but there's a great one where it shows what, you know, one of the Dune worms. It says, well, okay, there are a bunch of variations of it, but you know, he who controls the pumpkin spice controls the white girls.
Oh, yeah, good.
Yeah.
I think one of my favourite ones is the Gordon Ramsay one that says, "This dish is so full of spice. House Harkonnen has established mining operations."
Yeah. Okay, he marries Ireland, but he doesn't sleep with her. Okay, so that's it.
Yeah.
I haven't read it. I haven't read it in decades either. I was in high school when I read it. No, adaptations don't necessarily have to remove stuff. You know what? So I'm because this is media musings and we come up with topics way more than we actually cover them. I'm gonna put a little pin in for talking about just doing an episode on adaptation.
Okay, I found some memes.
Yeah, we have some Dune memes. The spice must flow.
I like this one though.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I just said about that one.
Yeah, IR Dune Cat. I controls the spice. I controls the universe.
Yeah. Yeah, and then there's that.
Yes, but can you do it while standing?
I like that one.
Oh, thank you for making me feel young, Titan.
Controls the universe.
Pumpkin spice everything.
That'll do.
Oh yeah. Okay, that's brilliant. And Jen, can you give Lone Wanderer the link?
A link? Oh,
yeah.
I can.
But I will say we're probably not gonna go much longer, maybe like a half hour at tops.
What have I done?
But yeah, IR Dune Cat. I controls the spice. I controls the universe. Let's see. Oh, sorry. I thought that Scummer, I didn't think that removing the print screen.
You bad timing again.
Yeah. No. So I tried to remove the shared screen. I didn't know that it would remove Scummer as well. Yeah. Yes, Dune is better than let's see, what was the junk shop rename? The Big Book of War Crimes and Old and Outdated Regulations Insanity Edition or something like that. But yeah, Scummer, feel free to jump back in. I did not mean to do that. Now let's see.
Excellent. So link sent, Lone Wanderer.
Yeah. And
Hello.
Hello.
Scummer must flow out of the stream.
The stream, yeah.
You know what's crazy? Me and Hot Swatch just only stopped talking.
Oh wow.
Oh, is that what? Because I sent Hopswatch a message saying if you guys wanted to join. And
I mean, we were just going back
I don't
and
know what
forth.
happened to me there. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm
Hello.
sorry. I tried to remove the shared screen from the lineup,
Hello, Pickle.
and I accidentally kicked you. Or yeah,
because he's
accidentally
so friendly.
removing the
Accidentally on
shared
purpose.
screen
Yeah.
kicked you as
Like,
well.
I didn't get
Okay.
any message on Twitter or anything saying you wanted to add us, otherwise I would have been over here.
Yeah.
But
Sorry. I did message in my group
Yeah.
about it.
yeah, he went to go eat after, like, I'm gonna go
okay.
eat. Let's talk about this. I'm gonna go eat. Let's talk about this. I'm just like,
Yeah.
dude.
So, have you read Dune or watched any of the adaptations?
I have Dune sitting right up from me, and I couldn't read it again because of my goddamn glasses. I have seen the trailer.
The new movie looks good.
And I'm cautiously optimistic, like I was for The Handmaid's Tale, but I shall watch it. And I don't care if I get corona, or I'll go to the cinema I will watch it.
Yeah. See, this is gonna be me around Christmas.
You look like Spice. You look like freaking getting Spice or something.
Yeah, no, we already said that. He needs to wear it because of the spice.
Yeah. But like in their world, spice is oil, I believe.
Yeah, it turns your eyes blue. Yeah, I have ridiculously blue eyes. And
So
actually, when I wear a blue shirt, it only brings them out.
I do. And like one of these days I will come on the camera, but after I lose my double chin.
Oh.
No, I'm super, like I don't want to come on because it's
it's all right.
But anyway, so what do you guys think of the trailer? Because I was cautiously optimistic.
Yeah, I'm optimistic for it. I think it should be good. It looks good.
Like,
it's got a lot of work to do because the miniseries was actually really good.
You know, was it on HBO? I never called it.
So yeah, I don't know. We will see. You missed it all. We actually talked through the entire plot of the book. First book.
Yeah.
Well, we were talking about all sorts. I mean, like after Jeff left, we were just talking about all kinds of shit.
Yeah, usually what happens when I leave.
So are you trying to call a bad-tempered badger from the community?
No.
Yeah.
Cull.
Yeah.
No, like honestly, I really do want to watch it. I do.
Yeah.
And in the next town over from us, they have D-box where the seats move with the movie.
Oh wow.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's really fun.
Especially when they're flying their weird copter things.
Yeah, I watched one of the Star Trek films like that, and my husband was so mad because I'm teeny tiny and he's like, 6 foot something. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to experience this. So I took off my shoes, crossed my legs, and went up into the chair. And I had like a band over me to lock me into the chair. And he was just like the whole time, like, you motherfucker. And I'm just like,
how unfair.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I don't give a shit. It's not my fault I'm tiny. But I don't. I mean, do you guys think it's going to be canon? The film,
the film,
to Dune. Do you think it's going to be canon?
As in, do I think it's going to be a faithful adaptation?
Yes.
I honestly, based off the trailer, I can't say.
That's exactly what I said. I looked at the trailer, but I love what's her name? Charlotte Rampling. I fucking love her.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
I don't. unfortunately, never when it comes to it, you never really know until you actually watch the film, do you?
Yeah.
How faithful it's going to be. You expect some changes because they do have to omit stuff for time purposes, but
you'll expect it to be different. I mean, even the miniseries where they actually had the time to do it, it made differences to what the books were.
And the miniseries, wasn't it? The guy who played Gimli.
What, John Rhys Davies?
Yeah, wasn't he in the?
Was he?
I don't remember.
Or was it someone?
There was definitely someone in it.
Oh, there's someone in it. Oh, yeah.
Meanie. Like, as in from Lord of the Rings.
Tell you in a sec.
I'm sure it was John Rhys Davies. And actually, I have a story about him.
Hurt.
William Hurt.
Oh, I love William Hurt. I would have.
He was Jake Leto.
And
honestly, I would have done him back in the day.
And I'm gonna be doing something. I'm going to be committing a terrible mistake.
To which?
Well, not John Rhys Davies, no, because
so I am going to put the 2 books I'm currently in the middle of reading on hold, and try and read through Dune before the movie comes out.
Well, I have the first.
Oh, that's crazy!
Like I have the first.
I mean, I have 2 months to do it.
You do.
Yeah, well, actually 3. I have 3 months to do it.
Ring.
So.
No, Ring. Honestly, if you do the first and the second, I'll do it with you. Because I have the first and the second right here.
We only need to read the first for the movie.
Yeah.
Well, I will read the first with you.
Oh, nice.
Well, I have the Testaments by Margaret Atwood. So... No, I would. I could put that on hold.
Yeah. Didn't she write that at? Isn't that like just newly written?
Yeah. It came out about 5 days ago. I had ordered it on Amazon, and I had to wait because I was waiting for my new glasses.
Ah.
Yeah, but no, I have a story about John Rhys. What was his last name? The one from
John Rhys Davies.
Yeah. My ex-boyfriend's dad and his uncle managed to get their truck out of a ditch. They'd gone around in New Zealand. They were doing a little drive-by tiki tour kind of thing, and they got stuck. And they pulled them out of the mud, and they were like, "Oh my gosh, we give you this, that." And he's like, "No, that's cool." I'm like, "What the fuck? You could have got autographs, money, fucking what the hell?" They're like, "No, it's all good."
Yeah.
I'm just like, no. But my stepdad had worked on security on 2 towers.
Oh.
Yeah, and we have some T-shirts from it. Back in that day, was it 2002? I want to say
2003, I think.
3.
Wasn't it?
Yeah.
2003.
Yeah. Thank you, Jen. Yeah. So he'd done security for that, but they had tried to go to the local bar around from where we live because Weta Studios, where they did everything, was like pretty much the street over from me. So whilst it was really, really cool, it was a pain in the fucking ass. You know, because we had to go get the bus like 2 streets over and shit. But after it all ended, they put on a barbecue and like all the stars dressed up in tuxedos. It was so great. Yeah, we got all the pictures and everything. And I was fangirling the whole time. But yeah. What are you all looking at?
All right. Trying to.
I'm just like, oh god.
Yeah. You know what? I should probably wait until I'm off stream to purchase
stuff.
Yeah, to purchase
good
Dune
idea.
for Kindle.
Yeah.
You treacherous bitch. Hey, come on. You're just like, oh, I'm just like purchasing shit.
Yeah. Oh,
I
well,
wasn't.
No,
I
well,
was
the thing
reading
is,
stuff about Dune.
I'm like, okay, screw it. I'm gonna
But no,
get
but
Dune for my
honestly,
Kindle.
Like,
Mm.
no, synopsis wise, are we honestly, are we all cautiously optimistic? Are we not?
Yeah, it looks the tone I got feels right.
Yes.
Yeah.
The
That's
tone I
how I
got
felt
from the
about
trailer feels right.
Yeah, and
Mm.
I am just reaming my husband because he hasn't read the fucking books. And
Yeah.
I'm just like, motherfucker, I might want to throw them at him. Break the fucking things, you know? It's like,
Yeah, sometimes it works better when they don't know, because then the director doesn't have their own preconceived ideas of how things should run. In which
oh, I
case
agree.
they're just coming off the script. So as long as the person who wrote the script actually read the book, because I have seen script writers who fucking wrote scripts from shit that they didn't actually read.
Oh, I agree. And you know what I'm really looking forward to is the Foundation trilogy.
Yeah. Except the Foundation books are huge.
Yeah, I have it up here because I was waiting for my glasses, and tomorrow's I'm gonna read it.
Yeah.
Cool.
I really, really, really hope I like it. But like, I have the trilogy, but apparently there's like 3 more after it, and I'm just like,
Yeah, it's 3. Is it? I thought there was about 9 or 10 books in the whole series.
Yeah.
I think there are like 3 or 4 separate trilogies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Foundations. Yeah, huge.
They had
Well,
basically.
no, we're talking about Dune.
Yeah,
I'm
I think.
sorry. I'm sorry, Dune.
I'm saying like I think there are 3 or something like Dune trilogies.
Oh, there
is. But the Foundation's
the
the same. There's lots of books in Foundation.
I'm going to be a sad action film fan here and say that the new Dune has got Dave Bautista in, so it'll be good.
Yeah.
Puke. Puking. But that's your thing.
Yeah.
So we're cautiously optimistic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So is Hissy okay? I'm really, really worried.
Yeah. Yeah, she's I think she just had she just got like a really bad migraine yesterday, so she just needs to rest, as far as I know.
That's kind of what she told me this morning, actually. So
yeah.
Did they cut the grass? Because whenever they cut it.
Oh no, yeah. She put in the chat during the previous during the hangout, the pre-show rather, that that they buzz her apartment beforehand to give her a chance to close all the windows and such.
Mm-hmm.
But they did not.
Well, they tried to.
Yeah.
No, I was super worried about it, you know.
Yeah.
So, does anyone have anything to shill? Because apparently you're like winding down.
Yeah.
My problem is I'm really tired now.
But yeah, so
Chills.
So closing thoughts. For those who haven't read Dune, Dune is a very large, dense, and excellent book, delving into themes of politics, ecological themes, religious themes. Though you will have to be careful, and because after decades of war in the Middle East, it is very easy to project a spices, oil, Arrakis as the Middle East interpretation onto it.
Mm-hmm.
But
which isn't necessarily exactly what was meant in the original.
Oh no.
I mean, there were allusions to spice oil, the Middle East, but
I
not
don't know,
all the other
'cause-
stuff that went along with it.
Because, potentially you could kind of see Paul Atreides as a sort of Lawrence of Arabia figure.
Oh my god. You
You,
didn't.
you could potentially.
Sorry, I dropped the God word. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But
No,
anyway,
it's residual god belief. RGB, I call it.
yeah. Anyways, Lone Wanderer, you have anything you want to show?
I have a channel and no, no.
Have you hit 50?
Oh, let's
Not
see.
yet. Not yet.
Oh, come on, people! Go sub to Lone Wanderer.
Two away. Come on, let's get.
We helped you. We helped you early on. Let's get this. We've got to get you to 50 by the end of the day.
Please. So I have the Lone Wanderers Variety channel where I predominantly have a Word of the Day series where I combat the orange Cheeto that's in the White House, who has the good words, the best words, the greatest words even. And I haven't decided on a date because I'm kind of super apprehensive, but I want to do a crimes committed by the religious series, but I'm not sure tentatively when that's going to come out. I don't really want to be the next Salman Rushdie. I don't think I would with only 40 subscribers, but we'll see. Anyway, my shill.
Yeah. I think that could very well just be its own topic. I'm not going to touch that without time to expand on it.
Yeah.
We could do a collab if you want.
Yeah. No, I was referring to Microraptor's comment.
I'm sorry. I see.
Yeah. Let's see. But yeah, currently you are 2 subscribers away from your 50.
Oh my gosh.
So
come on.
If you're not subscribed, go and subscribe and get Lone Wanderer over that threshold.
Yeah, let's see if we can get Lone Wanderer to 50 by the time my stream's over, because we only need 2.
Yeah, 2. Just 2.
Right. How many people are actually watching this right now?
We've got 10 people watching
10.
this.
Right, 10
Oh
now.
my-
At least 2 of you have not got to be subscribed to Lone Wanderer. Just go there, do that now.
Or have an alt that isn't.
Yeah.
No, honestly, I never thought I would have 1 subscriber.
Yeah.
And I know
I
that
know, when I
sounds
first subscribed
sad.
to you, I think you only had 2.
Exactly,
Yeah.
but I think you're hidden because I can't see you on there.
I'm definitely subbed.
Yeah, yay!
And yeah, that Microraptor, that was a big question for the end of the stream.
Yeah.
So
You're at 49 now because I used my alts, but
yay! Yeah, everyone use your
I-
alt.
I can't because I only from here I only have access to my main ones.
So one
Otherwise I
more.
would.
One more.
one
more.
more. Come on.
One of us. One
One
of
of
us.
us. Google gobble, one of us. We accept them.
Yeah, but I can't believe that Hopswatch. You kept saying I'm gonna go, and then we were talking this whole freaking time when I could have been on your stream.
Yeah.
Oh well, next one.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Hissy and Julie are migraine sisters,
Yeah.
and there was much rejoicing.
But, look,
Oh,
I'm all about films. Like I could come on
Yeah. Oh yeah.
if you want me.
Yeah. So maybe when I do the adaptation into film episode.
Well, no, I'm all about
Yeah.
films. I mean, film and TV was my thing at school. So,
Oh yeah.
cool.
Yeah, the only difference is that like usually for media musings anything's game,
Mhm.
but this month is Lit Month, so we're only talking literature.
Oh, I do that too. I've written a book.
Yeah, well, yeah, because this, because
What are you doing next week? I forgot. Oh, you're doing
Banned Book Week. Yeah, the Banned Book Week
Week.
special.
So books that have been banned.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm up for that.
You might want to try one at some point of films that are actually better than the books that they're based on.
Oh yeah,
I'm
Actually,
totally
that's
up
an
for
awesome
books. I'm on that.
oh yeah, because I make September Lit Month in honor of Banned Book Week every year.
Yeah.
I'm up for it.
Yeah.
And based on what we were saying earlier, there will be a Kubrick month at some point. So
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, we got to do Kubrick. We really do have to do Kubrick.
Yeah.
Well, if you subscribe to me this month is September.
Yeah.
So
and yeah, so subscribe for September, and also so we can get Lone Wanderer to 50 before the stream is over.
Please.
Please. One more people. Come on.
One of us.
Yeah.
One
Though
more.
actually, to drag this out a little bit, there is a lot of like similarity in themes between Dune and the Wheel of Time.
Oh, you know what? I read The Wheel of Time when I was 13, and I did not understand a lick of it. Well, because I wasn't in that frame, but we had to read it for well, it wasn't high school, but it was almost there.
Yeah. But or rather between the protagonists, because in both you have a prophesied, or at least pseudo prophesied, Messiah figure, or a figure of great import who possesses powers that are only properly harnessed by women, and where all the men who do possess such powers are killed. Yeah, I just kind of wanted to bring that up.
Yeah. I mean, maybe better now I might understand, but back then maybe.
Oh yeah. Though I will say, if you do start reading The Wheel of Time, it does drag in the middle.
Oh, I remember.
Yeah, and the thing is, everything is important.
Oh, also that, but it was just like, I have to read this for school, and it's just like, it's dragging and dragging.
Though I am kind of surprised that a school would like require the entire series rather than just one of the books, rather than just The Eye of the World.
Oh, it was the whole darn thing.
Yeah. I mean, I could kind of see that for like the Lord of the Rings, because it was originally written as one book. But anyways, Scummer, what do you have to
Well, hopefully next week, and should be myself and your do you know Hissy at all, Rank? You've come across her?
Yeah, I'm fairly well acquainted
with her. Yeah, well, hopefully Hissy's going to be feeling a bit better next week, and we'll be able to recommence our. We're going to recommence our Asterix series. I've got one or two things maybe in the pipeline. It's just I've been very busy. I don't want to announce it yet because I've got to get things confirmed in that. So,
What our collab that you have?
Just like a Catholic, he has to get things confirmed.
Yeah.
What the collab that you never asked me on, but you said we would do.
And what that was? What?
Nothing. No, I was like, we should do a collab.
She's like Badger.
Yeah.
You should come on my channel.
Come on my channel. Yeah. I'm one of the rare. I think you, myself, Jen, and Dave are one of the rare few that actually have been onto Badger's channel.
Yeah,
I have been on. Yeah, I've been on Badger's channel.
Oh, I mean,
Yeah,
I haven't
you and
been
I
on
were
Badger's
once,
channel.
I think.
I've not been
I-
on Badger's channel.
I haven't been on Badger's channel as myself,
No, I've not been on Badger's channel at all.
Actually,
but I
actually,
have been featured on Badger's
yeah,
channel.
He's been not been live on Badger's, but he's been featured on
Yeah,
Have I been featured on there not live?
It's a very interesting
Ring
story.
did voices for one of Badger's
Yeah.
shows.
I did one of my impressions
Ew.
for
No, stop.
for
no.
fanfic reading.
No, what? And I'm going to say this is a love story as well.
Yes.
Please don't ever do that impression ever again.
What was it? The apologist and the Viking or something?
Yeah.
Was it?
Oh
Yeah,
my.
I'm puking.
Yeah.
I love the fact that the Viking was supposed to be Ansgar and he voiced himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
But the thing is, I couldn't.
No.
Like, I had trouble like recording.
Trouble?
Trouble? What the fuck?
I had trouble recording my
Trouble?
I had difficulties recording my lines because I kept cracking up.
Yeah, it was funny.
Yeah. I'll have to
Highly
go back.
disturbing, but funny.
I'll have to go back and watch it. I've not been on Badger's channel.
Yeah.
I still think we should have sent that to Kent.
Ew.
Oh, you so should have.
Well,
Just
what is it?
see if we could get
Scientist
a
Mel?
reaction.
Scientist Mel has the number to his like personal cell phone. Like he answers it.
Right.
If you, it's like 1-800-dinosaur or something.
Yeah.
She called it.
No, that's not
And
that's not his cell phone.
I'm sorry.
That's his public number. That's out there.
But
Yeah.
he answered the phone.
You can easily get through. You can get through to him. And I know I haven't done it myself. But I know people who have done that and trolled him.
Desperation.
The Jurassic Park novel is read by Kent Hovind.
Oh no. Puking. But
No.
apparently.
So okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Wanderer, but I have to do this.
What?
Now, you scientists, you're evolutionists, were too concerned over whether or not you could do it, that you didn't think about whether or not you should do it. Ian, like Kent Hovind does, Ian Malcolm.
No, I'm not gonna say, that was actually pretty good. I'm not even going to
No,
disrespect.
it's a good impression. It's just that I can't actually imagine Kent Hovind saying that because that was a point in that film that actually somewhat made sense. It's not something Kent Hovind could fucking do.
Godless scammer.
Now
I have
what?
to hear
Watch me
gotcha.
drop the water on my hand and see how it flows. So it flows differently every time.
That's physics, you motherfucker.
The only person I know of that does it better than Ring is Dr. Josh at Digital Hammurabi. He is
I've heard the best right here from Ring. I'm sorry.
Ring will actually. Will you testify to this? That
Yeah.
Dr. Josh at Digital Hammurabi does it really good.
Yeah. Dr. Josh does it good, but the best I've heard was
Gutsick Gibbon.
Yeah, Gutsick Gibbon. Gutsick Gibbon does the best
she's
Kent Hovind
good.
impression.
She is good.
Oh, Erica's brilliant.
Erica is amazing. Erica is amazing anyway.
Godless. Matt is not on. Please do cha-cha.
You'll get him in trouble.
She's not on.
That's not the point.
That right there is a big pile of poo.
I love it.
I will say, Microraptor. Yeah, I think we've all seen that back and forth between Kent and Aaron Rye. Yeah, that was Aaron. I think there's still a warrant out for Aaron's arrest for murder after that.
Yeah.
Oh.
But
Well, so let's see. Jen, go ahead and chill.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you guys will know who I am. I'm Jen from Jen's Little Corner. I do LGBTQ plus content and science content and game show at the moment, that's news to me, and that's the main thing I'm doing at the moment because I'm in the middle of shifting house and will be for the next month and a bit. Probably just over a month actually. So that's my main content that I do, sort of things. But I'm also spreading out into doing some other stuff. There's a few documentary type things that I want to do, but that'll be after I shift and have the new studio set up and ready to go with that. But that's what I've got going. So there should be keep an eye out with me if you're following me on Twitter. I'll tweet out when the new That's News for Me shows will be on, and there should be one during the week, and there's always one on Saturday night US time. So
I look forward to it.
They're good fun.
I was on the pilot. Well, myself and Ring were on the pilot episode of that. It was a lot of fun.
Yes.
Yeah,
it's good fun.
Florida man stories, I love them.
Yeah, once I've shifted, there'll be some that are done as. I'm aiming to do some as pre-records, having a few live shows, but actually doing the bulk as pre-records. And that way I can have more things that like where we've got proper displays of things and stuff, so you can have cool cards like we did with the first one that Jeff and I did. But yeah, a bit more intense. But that should be.
Don't
that
move.
won't be
Hoven's vision is based off money.
Money. Anyway, that's me.
Love you.
Let me tell you.
I mean, and people making the suggestion that Kent Hovind might not be an honest person here.
What?
I'm completely and 100% honest. I run a very legitimate ministry teaching kiddies about the dangers of the global flood.
No money.
Well, technically he did because there was a kid that drowned, but technically
no, he
teach it very well.
he didn't kiss the kid.
Sorry, is that I don't know if I was too over the line or not.
No, he said that it was just one of those things and deal with it, basically.
Yeah,
because he's an ass.
Yeah, he is. He's a cunt. I'm gonna say it.
And the evil evolutionist liberal government falsely imprisoned me, and they need to pay back all the money that they fined from me.
If evolution was, I can't do Kofi, but if evolution was true, that kid would have developed gills and would have been able to breathe underwater. So
after 3,000 years,
like Kevin Costner in Waterworld.
You know what? I watched Waterworld. Honestly, when I was watching Waterworld, I finished a scarf. I wrote a letter to my mother that I've been trying, and I finished a book, and that shit was still on.
Waterworld is actually one of my guilty pleasures.
It's okay. Everybody has it.
Yeah.
Some people like Top Gun.
You just made
something you'd like to confess to us here, Wanderer.
Not me. Hate it. Sorry, what were you saying, Ring?
or as Badger would say, some people like the Disney Star Wars.
Oh no, not at all. Never. Not at all.
But the best part is Leia is now a Disney princess.
I am utterly disgusted, but I still love you, Jen.
Anyways,
the Mandalorian does somewhat redeem Disney, all right. We'll just all say on that.
I just thought of a joke that I'm not going to say.
Though I
have.
I haven't seen anything by Jon Favreau that I didn't enjoy.
I thought we had
Oh,
something
same.
special.
Yeah. Or
Jon
you know,
Favreau does good
talking adaptations. John Favreau's Jungle Book is probably the best that we're gonna get. That's also PG.
I also thought we had something special. Sad face.
But anyways, unfortunately, it doesn't look like we're gonna get that last subscriber in.
I know. I'm so mad.
Yeah, we tried. I even
Yeah.
tweeted.
Yeah. So
No one loves me.
well,
I'll get there.
49 people do.
Yeah.
No, honestly, I never thought I would get to 49.
Yeah.
I'm looking. I'm like,
Yeah,
no.
well, I mean, it's a good thing you didn't say that 20 subscribers down the line. Because there could be jokes that would be made.
No, really, honestly, I never thought I would have one subscriber to all of this. All jokes aside, but I'm really, really grateful for the 49 people. A lot of them I can't see because they're hiding their subs, but whoever you are, I love you. Thank you.
And so on Saturday, as always, I have secular D&D, where
I will forget.
where the party is currently navigating the Dread Desert. And unfortunately, we did have to have a bit of a cliffhanger in the middle of an encounter because people were feeling ill.
If they're in the Dread Desert, are they going to encounter the Dread Pirate Robin?
Yes, someone did it.
And of course, every Sunday,
I love you.
every Sunday we have media musings where we talk about the themes of specific pieces of media and sometimes talk about like greater concepts within media.
Yeah. But
and actually, yes, it is very much Dungeons and Dinosaurs because they are exploring a continent with where everything is reptilian.
Yeah, but speaking of your D&D, I can't see all of them. You don't have them all loaded up.
Oh yeah, that's because. So what happened was originally, I did it on. I was running for Chris, Daily Atheist Chris, not Pastor Chris. And then because of scheduling and stuff, it started not really working out on for me to run it on his channel, so we moved it to mine. So everything from when I started running it on my channel is available. Unfortunately, everything from when I was running it on the Daily Atheist was deleted.
What?
Why did he delete it?
I don't know.
What a cockle.
He should have at least downloaded it and given you a chance to grab it.
Dude, I think this may be a conversation better to have not on stream.
Yeah, off stream.
Yeah.
Okay.
So with that, we'll move. I'll do one last check. Unfortunately, still haven't gotten that subscriber, so we'll move to taglines.
I just tweeted it out and said, "Look, give my friend Lone Wanderer a sub." Come on, guys.
Yeah, I did that on Twitter as well.
And I retweeted.
No one loves me.
So, Lone Wanderer, do you have a tagline that you use?
See you out there in the wasteland. Please wear a fucking mask.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Well, it will see you out there in the wasteland, but
yeah. And Scar?
I don't normally have taglines, as you know. I just tend to put my fist up and say salute and be done. But I will echo. I will echo what Wanderer said. Wear a mask, you COVID denying fuckwits.
Yeah.
Love it.
And and of course, since this is Media Musings and Jen is the co-host, we do a thing where we've got a couple mashed up versions of our taglines. So I'm just gonna put this on and say, remember, don't choke on the don't choke on the indoctrination. Yeah.
And indoctrination's a hell of a selfie stick.
Yes.